This proves there is an agenda against the Indiana Fever. There is an attack agenda.
And I know it wasn't announced that Caitlyn Clark wouldn't play until right before, but this is a preseason game where Clark is not available, and yet you
want to body slam me? Fine.
And that's Kiki Arafin, and I got to tell you, here we go with the smiling like you've done. I don't get it. This is the worst part of the WNBA. It is.
Think you can just bully the Indiana Fever now that Caitlyn Clark's on the sidelines? One team tried it, delivering a shocking body slam that crossed the line. But instead of folding, the Fever ignited. Led by a fired-up Sophie Cunningham, this preseason clash revealed a brand new Indiana identity: tough, united, and absolutely refusing to back down. Forget what you thought you knew. This game exposed a side of the Fever nobody saw coming, proving they're dangerous even without their biggest star. If you stand with Sophie, comment Sophie mentality. All right, let's go.
This is the first time we're witnessing this. They're attacking Sophie Cunningham just like they did Caitlyn last year. There is an agenda against this basketball team, and I'm calling it out right now. The league better step in immediately. They better step in immediately. We better not be dealing with what we dealt with last year with Caitlyn.
The stage for this drama was set just before tip-off. Caitlyn Clark wouldn't be playing. For the first time in 5 years, spanning her entire college career and rookie WNBA season, Clark was sidelined. Coach Stephanie White made the call, citing some minor tightness in Clark's left leg. "We need to think long-term," White emphasized, wisely protecting her franchise cornerstone ahead of a demanding season with more games than ever. While sensible for the future, it left the Fever looking distinctly vulnerable against the Washington Mystics, stripped of their biggest offensive weapon and magnetic leader. The question hung heavy in the air: who would step up?
I mean, look, the biggest thing is we got to think long-term. Like, we got to make sure that we're not putting Caitlyn at risk for injury. We're not putting our team in a position, where we're thinking short-term and not long-term. It's a long season, 4 more games than last season. So we want to make sure that we're extra cautious and put her health and wellness first and foremost. And honestly, it's been one day at a time. How she's reacted to treatment, how she's reacted to workouts. So positive progress is being made, but we can't be short-sighted.
Early on, the answer seemed to be nobody. The Fever stumbled out of the gate, looking completely lost without Clark orchestrating the offense. Passes went astray, layups clanked off the rim, and their movements seemed sluggish, stuck in mud. The Mystics sensed weakness and pounced immediately, playing with aggressive physicality, pushing Indiana around and asserting dominance. The scoreboard reflected the Fever's disarray, quickly showing a 24-13 deficit after the first quarter. That gap soon ballooned to 15 points, and a sense of dread crept in. Was this preseason opener already slipping away into an embarrassing blowout?
Stephanie White seemed frustrated. We were down 15. Stephanie White called the timeout, and she must have stuck her foot up her team's ass and said, you see this arena? You see all these fans that came to watch you guys? 12,461 people. They didn't come to watch you guys bullshit. They didn't come to watch you guys drag ass. Let's play some defense and let's get it together offensively.
Just as things looked bleakest, a spark ignited from an unexpected source. Lexi Hull came off the bench and changed the energy entirely. She wasn't just filling minutes, she was disrupting everything Washington tried to do. Hull was a whirlwind on defense, diving for loose balls and snatching an incredible 4 steals, creating turnovers that stalled the Mystics' momentum. Offensively, she attacked with newfound confidence, driving to the basket and hitting shots, pouring in 13 crucial points. Kelsey Mitchell later praised Hull for doing the dirty work, providing that essential jolt when the team desperately needed anyone, to show some fight. Hull's energy kept the Fever within striking distance, preventing a complete collapse.
Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull, these 2 players. Sophie Cunningham gave us 21, Lexi Hull gave us 13. The Blonde Bombers is what they're calling them. We were down 15 in the first half. Why were we down 15? We cut it to within 3 at halftime.
But the Mystics' physical approach was about to cross a line, shifting the game's tenor from competitive to confrontational. With about 5 minutes left in the first half, as players battled for position, Washington's rookie Kiki Arifin grabbed Indiana's offseason acquisition Sophie Cunningham and violently threw her to the hardwood. It wasn't a hard foul, it was a body slam. The crowd gasped. Cunningham, incensed, immediately sprang to her feet and got right in Arifin's face, yelling, "You don't do that!" Officials quickly intervened, reviewing the play and assessing Arifin a flagrant one foul, a penalty that felt surprisingly lenient given the sheer recklessness of the action. The message from Arifin seemed clear, but the response it provoked wasn't what Washington expected.
Look at this. They're celebrating that. Okay. I mean, it's crazy. Here we go again. Here we go again. She's yelling while Kiki's laughing in her face. Never seen a rook have a vet so rattled.
If the Fever thought the aggression towards Cunningham was an isolated incident, they were wrong. Later in the game, the targeting continued. This time it was veteran Brittany Sykes delivering an unnecessary shove that sent Cunningham crashing to the floor once again. It wasn't subtle, it looked deliberate, but something crucial had changed within the Fever. Before Cunningham could even react, teammate Dewana Bonner, another key veteran addition, was immediately in Sykes' face, standing up for her teammate. The Fever bench erupted. This wasn't the Indiana team that might have wilted under such pressure last season. A clear message was sent. Mess with one of us, you mess with all of us. This new unity, this willingness to stand together was palpable.
Oh my God, Sophie's a dog. She just is, she's a competitor. She's versatile, so she allows us to do different things. Like, she plays with such a toughness. She's huge, and she's going to be for us all season long. But what she brings from an energy standpoint, she raises the level of play of everybody around her as soon as she steps foot on the floor. Hell, even on the sideline. I mean, her communication, everything. She's definitely an X factor.
And how did Sophie Cunningham respond to being physically targeted, slammed, and shoved? She unleashed hell on the Washington Mystics. Whatever anger or frustration she felt from the fouls was channeled directly into her performance. You could see the shift laser focus replace the initial shock. Cunningham started attacking relentlessly. She drove to the basket, absorbing contact and finishing. She pulled up for mid-range jumpers. She drained shots from beyond the arc. Washington defenders kept trying to body her, bump her off her spots, but it only seemed to fuel her determination. She poured in a game-high 21 points, shooting an efficient 6 for 11 from the field and a near-perfect 7 for 8 from the free throw line. It wasn't just scoring, she grabbed 8 rebounds, battling inside with relentless energy. Coach White perfectly captured it post-game. "Oh my God, Sophie's a dog," she said, using basketball's highest praise for a player with unwavering competitive fire and toughness.
Lexi Hull gets the nice steal here, runs down the court, finds Sophie Cunningham, who pumps up the
Drawn on the drive. High arcing pass, it was too high. Hull pulls down the rebound. Here's Cunningham again. Cunningham coast to coast.
What a first half for Sophie Cunningham.
And this is as we've clawed back after being down 15.
Fueled by Cunningham's scoring barrage and the team's collective grit, the Fever began to chip away at the Mystics' lead. What was once a daunting 15-point deficit slowly evaporated throughout the second half. Hull continued her energetic play. Bonner provided veteran stability and others contributed key plays. The defense tightened, forcing turnovers and tough shots. The team that looked lost in the first quarter was now playing with confidence and cohesion. They battled back, erasing the entire lead and forcing the game into overtime. The Mystics, who likely thought they had broken the Fever early, now found themselves in a dogfight, largely thanks to the player they tried to intimidate. In the extra period, Cunningham refused to let the comeback fall short, hitting clutch shots and free throws to seal a dramatic, improbable victory.
Sophie Cunningham, 12 points, 3 rebounds, 1 steal in 11 minutes off the bench in the first half. Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull played a majority of this game for the Indiana Fever. And they played together a majority of the time they were in this game. Sophie Cunningham showed exactly why we brought her in here. We won that trade hands down. Hands down, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We won the Sophie Cunningham trade.
The final buzzer sounded on a Fever win, but the most telling moment came right after. The Washington Mystics players, the ones who dished out the body slam and the shoves, reportedly walked straight off the court and into the locker room, skipping the traditional post-game handshake line. Why? Perhaps it was sheer frustration. Perhaps it was the sting of watching their aggressive tactics completely backfire. They tried to bully a team they perceived as weak without its star, and instead they witnessed the birth of something new. They saw a unified front spearheaded by Cunningham and Bonner refusing to back down. They saw resilience fueled by an electric home crowd of over 12,000 fans who roared with every defensive stop and celebrated the team's fight. This wasn't just a win, it was the forging of a new, tougher identity for the Indiana Fever right before everyone's eyes. Coach White praised the team's defensive intensity and near-perfect free throw shooting, 27 of 28, fundamentals that underpinned the comeback.
You want to make sure that your home court is special to you as a team, but you want to make it hard as heck for other people to come in here to Gamebridge, and they don't want to play here, right? And I think with that, as an energy player, you got to get your fans involved. That's our sixth man right there.
This single preseason game might echo far longer than most. It revealed an Indiana Fever team that's far more than just Caitlyn Clark. It showed a squad infused with veteran toughness from players like Cunningham and Bonner, complemented by the energetic contributions of players like Hull. They proved they could face adversity, withstand physical intimidation, and find ways to win even when things looked dire. The Mystics tried to send a message with their aggression, but the Fever answered loud and clear. The days of being pushed around are over. Sophie Cunningham went from being targeted to torching the Mystics, showing that relentless fire. Is that fierce approach exactly what this Fever team needs? Let us know by commenting Sophie mentality down below if you loved seeing her bring that fight. Now imagine this newfound grit, this resilience, this attitude, combined with the generational talent of Caitlyn Clark when she returns. The rest of the WNBA should take note. The Indiana Fever are standing up, they're fighting back, and they might just be getting started.